Hey, everybody.
Oh, man.
Was that really loud?
God.
Was that really loud for you?
No, I was just enjoying how good our intro music is.
It is
That's
actually
some
really good.
fantastic
Right, it gets you
royalty-free
grooving
music right there.
production loops. It feels right. Welcome
like
to
a
the
cheap
Halfy
porn.
Hour on SB Nation. I am back after a couple of weeks, but the show only got better once I left because Matt was here.
Hey, I did. I kept things going.
You kept things going. You had Jimmy Conrad last week, Nick Stevens the
Yes.
week before, our buddy Nick Stevens. And now we are joined by Bryan Fischer. Pac-12 Networks, Pac12.com,
All of it.
Twitter's Bryan Fischer.
What is it that you do for the Pac-12, Brian?
I am the senior correspondent for the Pac-12.
Oh, he's talent.
He's talent. He's a writer. He
Do it
goes
all.
to meetings.
Lots of meetings,
He
lots of
wears
meetings.
slacks.
I do.
Slacks.
Yeah, he wears slacks sometimes. So based in San Francisco, where
Yeah.
the Pac-12 has launched their network last year. Mm-hmm. Still trying to DirecTV. Got to get on the DirecTV. Still aiming for that, but I don't know if you've watched it.
I don't watch.
He's not a college fan
I
as
don't
much.
watch conference-themed channels as a rule.
The Pac-12 looks really nice.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell
that's
you
what I've heard. That's Spencer wrote about. Spencer Hall,
He went out
our
there,
friend,
yeah.
editorial director, said that it was basically a beautiful, shiny office.
It's beautiful
with
and
lots
shiny.
lots of technology.
I remember I just watching it when they went live. Like you have like a fiber connection to the campuses. Like you're running
Every
an
single
Ethernet
campus.
cord
Yeah, basically.
from San Francisco to like UCLA to Arizona. But
What?
they had like Jim Moore, the UCLA coach, on once. And you know when you're watching like the satellite feeds, coaches are just like there's a lag or there's like the quality isn't as good.
Sure.
He was actually sharper than they were in the studio. It was scary. It's like when you go to Best Buy and they have the TVs on the weird settings.
Yep.
That's what it looked like. He was too clear. So.
Meanwhile, the Big Ten network is just like a 1930s radio feed.
But they sell you Rotel.
Yes.
They sell you delicious,
That's key.
cheesy dipping additions. Anyway, we are here because we like talking about the week that was with smart people, and Bryan Fischer is one of those smart people. Matt and I are of average intellect. It varies. It's a like a
Combined,
sine
you're good.
wave, if you remember from
No.
trigonometry. I don't know what I'm talking about. But so Brian's a college football guy. Before he was at the Pac-12 network, he was at CBS Sports. Brian,
I've heard of them.
You've heard of them.
Upstart.
Yes, up and coming startup. Traveled the country covering college sports, mainly college football. I've traveled the country, mainly college football, going to all these towns.
Yes.
You have traveled the country just living.
47 states I've been to.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's been all over. So we decided today that we were going to antagonize people and talk about the best and worst college towns that exist.
Oh, and I'm so glad this is an internet and not a live show because we would have to put up chicken wire in order to not get thrown because I'm going to slander the place that you love today.
Yeah, that's what Matt does. But before we get into that, let's quickly get into the bests of the week. Brian, you're San Francisco, but you've been in New York these past
Yes.
couple days. What's the best thing you've eaten this week?
Pizza.
Where'd you go to get pizza?
Every street corner.
Really? You're just getting slices?
Yeah. I was around Penn Station the other day and just, ducked into a place.
Boom,
got
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Just, I love pizza. We have a place across from the office that's like the go-to spot.
Right.
And they call it Escape from New York, but it's not New
the
York.
same. No, not at all. All right. What was the best thing that you saw, whether TV, movie, with your own eyes on the streets, anything that stands out as for aesthetically interestingness?
Well, we're not. Pac-12 Networks was nominated for a Sports Business Journal Award on Wednesday.
Right, so you went to an award show.
Got the plug
Yeah,
in. There we
boom.
go. The bosses will like that one, but no, it was cool. Just we've been on air 9 months, and I haven't been a part of it for that long. But
Right.
we've been on air since August, and to be mentioned with ESPN and CBS Sports during broadcasting the Super Bowl and NBC in an Olympic year is huge for us, and so
Right.
that was just cool to be a part of that.
Did they have at the ceremony, at the Oscars, they have the beautifully and minimally clad women on the stage to usher off the win? You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
And I don't know how you get that job. I would. That's no offense, Brian. That's who I really want to have in studio. I wanted the ins and outs of that job, but they didn't have like the presenter assistants.
No, the awards were at the Marriott Marquis, and before that, I was actually at the MLB Fan Cave, and there was a little bit more of that, than the Marriott Marquis with everybody.
Dan
in
and I know
suits.
the fan cave well.
We are personas non grata.
We are not welcome back at the fan cave.
No, we have been excluded from further fan cave events.
I will not go into that topic.
It doesn't matter. So the awards were good. Were there goodie bags?
I don't know.
So no scantily clad women, no goodie bags.
There was for the
Is
fan
it
cave
even
event.
really?
Oh, okay.
I don't even want an award. Like,
Yeah, no, I just want goodies.
Yeah.
Matt, what was the best thing you ate this week?
I'm very upset. I made a 36-hour journey to California, Southern California this week.
Right.
Did not have time to get my In-N-Out fix.
Ooh. Anything good out there?
I will say, I'll tell you what I enjoyed most this week was I had time to catch up with a friend in Venice, and we were at the top of a hotel in Venice, and just having a drink at the top of the hotel on a sunny day, knowing that I was about to get on a red eye and have to go to work the next morning, and I was just like, I just soaked up some sun, had a lime and thyme infused gin drink, and I was like, okay,
Life is good.
This is going to be a nice
Former
thing.
South Bay resident,
That's
Bryan
right.
Fischer. So
nice.
he knows it well. Yeah, I was in New Orleans a couple weeks ago, so I'm going to count that since I haven't done a show since then, and that would just be everything.
Yeah.
Essentially.
How
But
much?
Little humble brag there.
Little
I was in New Orleans.
It was actually the first time I've ever been, and I had a great time. And I went to a place that Matt recommended with our group, Sylvain.
Sylvain is amazing.
Really, really good.
Did you have that pork shoulder?
I tried it. I didn't order it. I got like the shrimp perlou with creamy popcorn rice and pancetta. I mean, it's just, what are we talking about here?
It was amazing.
Yeah. All right. I didn't see anything that good this week. I like Mad Men because they were all like on crazy speed.
I finally saw Iron Man 3.
Hey, how was that?
Really good.
That's what I've heard.
Very funny.
Do you go to the blockbusters?
Have not hit that hit Star Trek.
What'd you think of
last
that?
week? It was all right.
I've heard.
Solid.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Solid.
Hangover 3, interest?
No,
Yeah.
none.
Yeah.
After the disappointment of 2, I'm not going to give him 3.
Right. That's fair. All right. Let's get into the best college towns that exist. As a background, Bryan went to USC. I went to the University of Oregon, and Matt is a proud Northwestern Wildcat.
I'm a Northwestern Wildcat.
He's he is an accepted Northwestern Wildcat. And we have traveled far and wide. And I don't think our favorites are going to be that unusual. I don't know what Bryan's are. I don't know what Matt's are. But I feel like people that have traveled around generally gravitate towards the same few as the favorites for good reason.
Well, what's a college town in the purpose of this discussion?
Okay. A college town is any town, any area around a university, and we're going to keep this to like BCS level colleges. So we're not, I mean, I take that back. Known colleges. So I don't think we're going to go deep into like, the area around Swarthmore is underrated.
So it's like if we're talking about UCLA, it's
Westwood Village.
Westwood.
All right.
You don't get all of Los Angeles.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you this right now because I was planning on telling you this. Westwood is the great overrated college town.
I would agree with that.
You know why? It's not really a college town.
No,
it's
no.
really nice. I'm not saying it's like bad and it's not a college town. There's no like place to get like $3 well drinks, and it's not gritty, and it's right up against Century City and Beverly Hills. It's nice. You want to hang out there if you have money.
And you know what's even like that makes me think about NYU because
Yes.
like NYU
Not a
owns
college
like
town.
the crappiest stretch. It's like the a bunch of Manhattan stripped of any kind of flavor.
Yep.
It's
That's
horrible.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
But like USC, it's not that great an area around there. It's a beautiful campus. They've got a couple of like college bars that are, if like you went to the 9-0 in Columbia, Missouri or in Starkville, Mississippi, like, yeah, that's a college bar. So there is like an environment of collegiateness.
Yeah.
But as for like a college town and just like a street, a drag with a million different bars and interesting food places, that doesn't really exist at USC either.
You can go downtown.
You go
I think,
downtown.
I mean, there are good spots there. I think there's the, frat row and those places.
Right.
But, I think it's a city campus, and I think that's
Exactly.
what's tough.
But see, here's the thing. There are cities that do city campus as well. Like I think the Ave in Seattle is really, it's a fun
Yes.
place
Yeah.
to hang out.
Yes,
At the University
correct.
of Washington, they have like interesting foreign foods and bars, and it's
Yeah.
just like very young. And there's record stores when record stores existed. I don't know if they still do,
Yeah.
but it can be done well.
So Pac-12
Texas.
guys, what's the cream of Pac-12?
I would say, to me, as for like a pure college town, I would say Tempe, which is sort of a neighborhood in Phoenix.
It is.
They do it well. They have a good time.
Mill
but it's
Ave.
Mill Avenue, absolutely. Good food, a million different bars. The girls
Just
are great
the
looking.
that's the one thing you
Absolutely.
can't
no.
ignore that.
Listen, we're not ignoring the sexuality of college campuses. I'm gonna keep Bryan safe with his job, but Matt and I who knows?
I mean, yeah, giggity.
Yeah, so Arizona State, fantastic lookers and good food, warm temperature, which I think is something that a lot of the nicer college towns
that
don't
the
have.
students aren't busy studying because they're not. It's not like they're challenged by the course material.
Right, you're not going. This isn't Northwestern.
No.
This isn't Dartmouth. I don't know why I went immediately to Northwestern and Dartmouth, but I did. I really like Eugene, but I'm biased. It's
I love
a
Eugene.
town.
Yeah, I mean, it is a town. It's a way you get, it's a kind of own environment. It's not super small. I mean, it's a bigger city.
I think it's 6 digits, 100,000.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
my complaint about Eugene is the nightlife element. I think it's a beautiful town. I think obviously it's fun on football game days. The girls, not upper echelon, but they're decent. But like the street right by campus, like there's not a street of just like 18 bars or like 14 restaurants that are open all night. That's where they're lacking, I think, Eugene.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot. It's very green. It's pretty. The weather sucks. But other than that, it's pretty serviceable. As for other places in the Pac-12, Palo Alto's beautiful, but there's not a real rowdiness factor.
It's like, ooh, I've come to college for the stucco houses.
Yeah. It's a nice place to be if you're like a rich 38-year-old programmer.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I've chosen Stanford because I love Rodin sculptures.
Right. But on that, I guess a different note, it's hard to turn down Stanford if you're a top football player.
You walk on campus and you're like, oh, yeah, okay.
I get it.
Gotcha.
So they have
but
that
there
whole
are
thing going for them.
places, if you know where to go, and this is true of any college, if you
Right.
know where to go,
Yeah.
you can find a good spot.
Right.
But I think it is difficult to see those kind of urban-ish campuses.
Sure.
It's different in Pullman, it's different in Corvallis, it's a little
Very different. Yeah.
Tempe and kind of Tucson are kind of in the same boat.
Tucson gets a little bit shady quickly. It's
you
only
can
nice around
stray.
campus. It gets a little bit weird.
Let's pull the
Let's pull back.
Pull back. Encompass the entire country.
Yeah.
You've got a top 5, correct?
I do have a top 5, and we have pictures.
Oh.
Show me Austin.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be my number one as well.
So there's a view of 6th Street, which it's fantastic. So it's a huge, I think it's like 800,000 people live in Austin. So it's not built around the college anymore. It's just a hub of everything.
According to Wikipedia, it's also the capital of Texas.
According to Wikipedia, that is absolutely true.
Yeah.
I wish we had like a ding sound.
Little
Thank you, Will.
Little known fact.
little known fact. Awesome.
It's just the best food in America. I mean, you're talking about barbecue and Tex-Mex, wherever that collides. The girls are great looking.
Start with the girls. Yeah,
Start with the girls. The girls are fantastic looking. The weather's generally great. I don't know how
A little
Texas
hot
is.
sometimes. A
It
little
gets
hot.
During the school year,
During
it's
the school
fine.
year, though.
September through May,
Right.
pretty good. And then, like, if I went to a wedding in the summer there, and I continued to sweat for 6 days
Balls.
after leaving.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And you do get a weird cross section of Texans.
Yeah, I'm from Dallas, so I know
Right.
I know UT and Austin pretty well, and it's definitely a,
What
a
are the
subculture.
demographics? What are the demographics of not necessarily Austin, but UT students?
I think it's different now than it was like 10 years ago, but
Right.
I think they're a little bit more focused on, I think it's just different.
Right.
Like the campus itself, the city itself is different from, Dallas and Houston and San Antonio.
Sure.
Austin, it's kind of its own country inside Texas,
Right.
which is,
And so it like when you think about the sort of stereotype of Texans and the sort of cowboys and then the I really don't want to use a derogatory term. So like the types that would overcurve a camo hat. that type of person, they're gravitating more towards
a
A&M.
little bit more, that's a little bit more A&M, definitely the kind of agricultural,
Broy,
and they want to get out there. Texas is so much, a little bit high-minded of themselves.
Right.
They're probably a little bit more well-off than the
You guys are
the
being
others.
so nice. I'm gonna write at the camera here. Texans are egomaniacal tools. I think that's what you guys are trying to say.
That is true of a lot of people I've met. Yeah. But Austin's fantastic.
No, I've got a lot of friends who are Texans. I swear.
I don't know if there's anything else to add, but
I'm gonna cut your mic, man.
There we go.
audio guy is a Texan. Madison, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Show me Madison.
Yeah, that's
I
up
think there it is.
I had a great time. I've done some Big Ten travels, obviously, Northwestern guy.
Yeah.
And Madison is probably the best in the Big Ten.
Madison does well. I guess it gets cold. It's by 2 lakes. If you like bodies of water, you're
Yeah.
doing pretty well.
I will say it's the coldness is not a factor. Like that does not the Wisconsinites. It does not
for
affect them.
Oh, absolutely not.
They'll go right through. They'll drink right through that snow.
Mm-hmm. Have you spent time State Street in Wisconsin?
I've not gone through Madison.
It's a good time.
I've gotten to know enough Wisconsin fans covering the Rose Bowl the last couple of years.
It is a fan. There's a great downtown area.
Wisconsinites are kind of like the Australians of America.
Ooh, I like that.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
The drinking.
Yeah, the drinking and like they just make it a party. You know,
It's just a good time. I will say this. This is more Big Ten females in general. There is a little bit of a layer that you don't see on some SEC girls.
yeah,
Very cute.
They need it for warmth.
Very absolutely. It's evolution, man.
Yes.
It's evolution.
It's evolution.
We'll stay in the Big Ten. Another town that gets mentioned a lot. I haven't spent a ton of time there. Ann Arbor.
Overrated.
Oh, yes.
Overrated. Are you saying properly rated, underrated?
In the Big Ten, I think it's properly rated. Maybe outside of the Big Ten country, it's probably a little overrated.
Yeah.
I've not spent a ton of time there. I've been to a game at the Big House. I liked it. For me, it's the cold factor just because I'm a ninny from Southern California.
What's that deli that they make a big
Zingerman's.
deal?
Zingerman's, yeah.
Really? Have you been to Zingerman's?
Have you been to any New York City deli that's way better?
This is true. I have been to many delis. I haven't been to Zingerman's though, but I'm told good things about Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
they
I
like to
think
party.
it's food. You know, it is more of a college town. It's close enough to like Detroit and the airport. You
Right.
can get to it pretty easily. So
Yep.
It checks a lot of boxes off.
Good school, cute girls. I mean, it's pretty good. Anywhere else? Columbus, better than I thought it would be.
If you know where to go in Columbus.
If you know where to go in Columbus.
it is especially closer towards campus.
Right.
It's one of the better spots.
Yes.
If you know where to go, it's good. If you don't, it's
You're worried.
it's
Murdery. I think the adjective is murdery.
Ohio State's kind of like the juggalo of the Big Ten. Like
Okay.
it's you got
I like that. I'll accept it.
kind of ashamed.
Yeah, Juggalo. Okay. What do they drink? Fago? Is that the drink?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Ohioans.
Anyway, anywhere else in the Big Ten that has struck you as worth going
Green
to?
Street at U of I.
In Champaign.
And don't get me Champaign Urbana. My sister was an Illini.
Yeah.
Been there many times.
Papa Del's.
You don't like. It's not some place that you just choose to go to. It's in the middle of nothing but cornfields.
Right.
Super boring, flat.
You
However,
just end up there.
Green Street's a good time.
Green Street's.
Yeah.
Here's what I know about Champaign. They let you into the bars at 19.
So
That
why my cousin went there.
Yeah. No, my
Yeah,
friend
you can
Scott
get
went
in.
there. You can get into bars when
That's
you're
true.
19. So if
It's been a long time since I was doing that.
If
But
you just can't wait,
Yeah.
you can get into bars at 19. So that's fun. I've never been to Champaign.
You're not missing much. They're known because they have like an actual plot of corn on their campus. It's
Right.
very agricultural.
All right. We'll go back down to the Big 12. Anywhere else that stands out to either of you, either in a positive way, negative way, College Station, Lubbock, Norman.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Lawrence.
and be negative about my own school. Evanston's a terrible college town.
Oh, that's right. Big 10.
But
It's
you get,
great.
You get
It's great.
Chicago.
It's great because
so
you're close
it's
to Chicago, but
Right.
like the town of Evanston itself is terrible for college students because like it's the first wealthy suburb outside of Chicago. So
Okay.
they don't like the fact that the people who are from Evanston don't like the fact that Northwestern has the nice waterfront property and
Mm-hmm.
there's drunk college students peeing in their alleys, and so it's not a very like college friendly town.
I'm going to ask you this, and because I know you're going to be honest. How do the girls at Northwestern, a school with a very high academic reputation, compare to other schools with very high academic reputations? Because that is the rep of these schools.
You know, I never minded. I was never like, oh, there just aren't enough attractive girls for me.
And if you had done that, that would have been weird.
It's I would say it's better than your average Ivy.
Okay.
Because
Reasonable.
I would say that Northwestern, when I was there, which a decade ago,
Let's be honest.
a long time
Pre-internet.
ago. Yeah. When I was there, it was you have students came from around the Midwest, like, and then like Long Island and California, and so there was enough infusion of non-Midwestern talent. Plus, you've got like the Norwegian, Swedish from like Minnesota and Wisconsin.
I like
so
that.
There's some blonde action going.
And here's the thing too: when you think about these schools and the attractive women at these schools, and we're not trying to be misogynistic. It just happens sometimes.
Yeah. Own it. That's right.
If you can find an attractive girl at one of those schools, you're talking about a cute, smart girl.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
holy grail.
Yeah.
So Good for Northwestern.
They're out there.
They're out there. They're waiting.
I found there are a couple. There's out there.
I believe it. All right. So if there's nowhere else in the Big Ten, State College, I've heard it's quaint. I've heard it's a good time.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
It's way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Hard to get to.
that's a deal breaker for me.
That's a negative. But it's another one of those huge state schools, so they have like the nightlife and everything like that.
I had a good time at Purdue when I went there.
Yeah, that's the only time I've been to a Cracker Barrel. Only time it was in West Lafayette. And I know, here's what I know about West Lafayette too, not to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt.
Okay.
That there's a burger place that puts peanut butter on their burgers. I was like, yep, you're in the Big Ten.
Yep.
Yes, you are. What were you going to say?
Negative things about Iowa.
I've been to Iowa City for a game. I didn't go out a ton, but just as for like the game day atmosphere, it was really boring.
You know why? Because all the cool people are getting arrested going into the stadium.
That's true.
Or at least that was my friends.
Was it Iowa or Iowa State? I like when I confuse schools that people hate.
Ames,
Iowa, same
They
thing.
are the same thing.
Whose play-by-play guy got arrested?
It sounds like an Iowa State story.
It sounds like an Iowa State story. I
but
think like
maybe
hanging out
that's-
with co-eds or something like that, or sort of drunk on campus at like
Can you
3:40
really
a.m.
blame him?
No, not at all. But I think he was reinstated. I don't think it was Iowa. I think it was Iowa State.
All right.
Well,
I
before
tried
we
to look it up
leave
on
the
Google.
Big Ten, though,
Yeah.
I think we got to say Lincoln especially.
Lincoln's a good time. I've been there
I
like
love
4
going to
times
Lincoln.
randomly. Lincoln, it's an hour from Omaha, also underrated.
Yeah.
It's a nice area right around campus. It's the only university that people go to in the state of Nebraska, which is fine. The campus is not great, but the town, it's a lot better than you think. And it's the only city in the world that has introduced me to a Playboy Playmate. That is true.
That's some serious bias because
It's bias.
Lincoln's on like my bottom 5. I would definitely never go there.
I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there for college. I wouldn't want to spend 4
But I'll go
years
there
there.
for a couple games.
For like a game weekend.
Okay.
It's a good time. The
Some
fans
good
are really fun.
barbecue, it's
Playmates
solid.
everywhere, as per my
yes.
experience. It's a good time. It's underrated. That would be my underrated.
I knew someone who was part of like Nebraska athletics, was from Southern California, and like had all this Nebraska pride.
Yeah.
And she's like, just love Nebraska. And I was like, yeah, but you're from Southern California. Yeah. And you live there now. Yeah. But you love Nebraska. Oh, so she's
Yeah.
like super proud of Nebraska, but would never ever live there.
Right. It's
And it's
a
like
good time.
you can appreciate Nebraska when it's only a little tiny fraction of your life.
Exactly. I would never live in Eugene, Oregon, but I love going there for game weekends.
Yeah.
I love it. So Nebraska underrated to me, but I've never spent more than 3 or 4 days there at a time. So that's my answer there. Anywhere else in the Big Ten? I don't believe so. East Lansing? Strong thoughts?
No.
East Lansing?
No.
None whatsoever. And I'm sure people are going to be upset about me saying bad things about the Midwest.
Right.
I can say bad things about the Midwest. I lived there for
Yep.
like 9 years.
Yeah,
And if I never go back to like I've just seen too much corn and soy like just stretching to the horizon. And I just never again.
Never again. Big 12. So he's our
I'm
guest.
a Big 12 guy, yeah.
This gentleman is from Dallas. He spent a lot of time going all over the place. I enjoyed my brief afternoon in Lawrence, Kansas. Not thorough enough to get a feeling for it. Haven't been to the Little Apple. Have not been to Norman/Oklahoma City. How is
Norman's
that?
okay. Norman's okay.
How far away is it from Oklahoma City?
Probably, depending on traffic, 30 to 45
okay.
minutes. I mean, people there
Suburb
go
almost,
to like
yeah.
Oklahoma City Thunder games all the time.
Right.
And my sister goes to school there. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not, it's very commercial. It's, there's an Applebee's, there's a, kind of off the 35
Sure.
there.
I ended up in Norman on Geoguessr recently.
Really?
And I was able to identify it because of an OU sticker.
And so you guessed Norman.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you played GeoGuessr?
No.
Do you know what it is?
Man,
No.
it'll change your
Oh
life.
my God. So basically, and Matt, interrupt me if I get this wrong.
Please go ahead.
Google, there's an app or a game online where they utilize Google Maps and they show you the Earth. What view is it called?
Street view.
They show you Street View somewhere in the world, and you can only go 360 around their Street View, and you have to pinpoint where that is in the world, and it tells you after you guess how many kilometers away your guess is. So you can be like, oh, I think a lot of Hawaiians drive that car. That's definitely in Oahu. And then it turns out it's in like the Philippines. And you're like, however many thousands of kilometers.
Yeah.
It's really addictive.
It's we're gonna have a lousy Memorial Day weekend. It's gonna be rainy.
Yep.
This is a good time to get hooked on Geoguessr.
Get on that Geoguessr. All right, so Big 12, we mentioned that. Stillwater, I haven't spent time at. I know that there's a place called something.
Eskimo Joe's.
Eskimo Joe's. I was going to say Frosty something.
Right across the street. Yeah, no, I mean, that's a good place. Oklahoma State's very different because it is further away from, kind of the city than say Oklahoma, but very much a college town. There's places to go out there. It's tough to, I've never stayed there just because it's so difficult to stay there. But,
Right.
It's definitely, Eskimo Joe's is an experience in itself.
Right.
And you can get some good stuff. And
They got
it's
that
cheap
sweet
and-
T-Boone quiche
Yeah.
at
All
Oklahoma
I
State.
know is that Oklahoma State fans I find generally less annoying than Sooner fans.
That is true. I would say that is true.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of the new riche.
Yeah.
Nouveau riche. Nouveau riche of the Gatsbys in Oklahoma. So they just are sort of enjoying this wave of success. So that is true. Lubbock.
Definitely a college town.
Let's talk West Texas.
There's one good steak place in there.
Yeah.
My sister was born there.
Okay.
We've got actually. Can we go to the picture of Lubbock?
Let's go to the picture of Lubbock.
I know that we're.
We've got some visual cues.
It's the one that I've
there a
got.
tumbleweed going?
is,
There's a
that's
sandstorm in front of it, apparently.
Yes.
There we go.
Ah,
Yes.
Lubbock, Texas.
Beautiful Lubbock, Texas.
Gorgeous. that storm probably moved so many STDs around that place.
Oh, because West Texas. Thoughts?
Thoughts is I hope I never have to go there ever.
Home of Buddy Holly, I believe. I believe Buddy Holly is
he's
from
Who I
Lubbock.
dead.
believe went to Texas A&M.
I wanted
not
that
mistaken.
could also be true. Have you been to Lubbock? Have you
I
spent time
have.
there? What are your thoughts? Guns up.
I mean, and it's funny. Like now, it used to be like the place kind of in the region, and now it's just like, I mean, it's just the school is there, and it's just college people, and you can go out to bars and have a good time, but you're worried when you get home, and so it's.
You're worried when you get home?
I mean, it's dry, and
okay.
it's people are crazy there. I think a little bit. It's just different. It's just out on its own.
Somebody's called Lubbock like accidentally finding yourself on Mars. That's
You know what? I like that. I like that.
That's the description I've heard. What am I missing in the Big 12? College Station used to be. It's still in that state, so I guess if we're talking about that, we'll get into that
We'll get
with
there
SEC.
with the SEC, but
Anywhere else of note? Little Apple, anything Ames?
no,
They like their broadcasters partying in Ames. I think it's Ames.
I don't
yeah.
even
we
know
can
what you're
definitely
talking
skip
about.
over like Waco, and I'll tell you
Right.
what, the best place to go in the Big 12 is for when the shootout occurs in Dallas, because that is the best
I'm anti-Dallas.
college area right there. Is State Fair, the game, you get to go out on the West
I'm
End.
anti. I'm anti that game and the fairgrounds. I had an awful time there. It was humid and rainy, and it's just like grease in the air. It's just wasn't for me.
What about Morgantown?
Ooh, I've been to
You know what?
Morgantown.
I would love to go to Morgantown.
Let me
I've
tell you
never
about
been.
Morgantown. I went to a noon game at Morgantown, and I was like bumming out, like, oh, they're not going to be drinking. Wrong. Everclear moonshine
Yes.
with like their sausage patties.
Nice.
At like 9:30 a.m. They have a wild time at Morgan. It's really fun. The problem was I went when they were still in the Big East, and it was like against like an average Rutgers team. So just like West Virginia kind of comfortably won.
It kind of is a shame that West Virginia is not in the SEC.
Yeah, it would be fun. I mean, LSU went there a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and that was a fun time. That was like the biggest game ever.
That's when they ran out of beer, right?
Did they run out of beer that night?
Probably.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, just there are certain sensibilities that would make sense. I feel like if Mississippi State fans and West Virginia fans got together, they would find
Stark
common
Vegas
ground.
and Morgantown. Or
They'd be like, you feel this way about everything I feel? Yeah, okay, great. Yep. Uh-huh.
sister schools, sister
Yeah.
cities. There we go.
Yeah, it feels right.
Well, let's we're running a little low on time, so
Okay.
let's finish
Speed
up.
round.
Yeah, what's the rest of your top 5?
Rest of my top 5, I really like Boulder.
Yes.
That's a
Boulder,
Pac-12
yeah.
school. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. We can see a picture maybe. I don't know.
I made him
Yeah.
scroll through before
Yeah.
and screwed up the order. With
Yeah,
the,
it's okay. Boulder's gorgeous, and
Great college town.
all they need is a good football team right now because it's good food, good nightlife. The girls are cute because it's all essentially all the. Here's the misogyny again.
Yeah.
The really good-looking girls that didn't have the best GPAs but are smart enough to go to decent schools. Arizona State, Boulder. That's the Southern California girls.
It's sunny, something like 280 or 300
great.
days a year there.
It's not snowy. I mean, it snows, but it's like a pretty
Yeah.
mild temperature. Campus is gorgeous.
Lots of access to weed.
Yeah. Well, it's a legal thing.
legal now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say if there's a drawback to Boulder,
Mm-hmm.
it's that it is the highest per capita in
at
the
your
United
research.
States of white people with dreadlocks.
Ooh, yeah. You have the hippie factor.
Yeah.
You have
So
the hippie
that's
factor.
the one. I love Boulder. It's I've had great times there, but the white people with dreadlocks, man, I can't deal.
You know what stood out to me about driving through Boulder? Every other person has a Subaru Outback. Everybody's like, well, I want 4-wheel drive,
Yes.
but I want something sensible for the family.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the Subaru Outbacks, which, fine, whatever. A lot of Birkenstocks. I think Chipotle's Denver. I think that's where Chipotle started. But Boulder's a good time.
What's next?
What's next? We have Charlottesville, Virginia.
Ooh, I love Charlottesville.
Charlottesville, Virginia. It's where Thomas Jefferson hung.
Yeah.
Monticello, I believe. It's where Bobby Big Wheel went to school.
Yep.
Past guest of the Halfy Hour. But
It's where Kappa Sigma was founded.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
why do I know that? Let's not talk.
let's not talk. Good food. You got to be smart to get into Virginia.
Bobby Big Wheel went.
For grad school. You have to be smart to get in. The food is good. Lots of cheap bars. It's nice weather unless you're in there in the summer, which it's real stanky.
Yeah.
Real stanky Virginia in the south, but it's a good time.
Yeah.
It's what Eugene doesn't have as for like the nightlife around campus. So I liked it a lot. Athens, Georgia. I haven't spent a lot of time there.
Best place in the SEC, I think.
That's the sort of
I think Oxford definitely has its positives, but
Right.
I think just when you consider
As a
everything,
town, right.
everything, Athens kind of
Okay.
is the best.
I'll buy
Athens
that.
very Austin-y.
I mean, for game day, you can't really beat the Grove and Old Miss.
True.
But like Athens, if you're going to stay, come in Thursday, Friday, and stay through Sunday, and that's the complete.
The best
package.
time I've had at an SEC school was LSU, though.
LSU's great. As a
Well, yeah,
game day
Baton
experience, it's
Rouge.
the opposite of the Grove at Ole Miss, where it's very like debutante,
Yeah.
Dixie, all
I
that
walked
kind
around.
of stuff.
I walked around with Spencer Hall, and everybody just fed us and gave
It's
us beer.
incredible. They're crazy
And
in
I
like
ate-
the worst and
I
best
ate
ways.
so well.
Yeah.
I ate so well, just like people's tailgates.
Did you go into the game?
No, we couldn't get tickets.
Couldn't get. It's the loudest
Yeah.
I've ever seen a stadium.
Get your daiquiris going on the way,
It's great. Yeah, my problem with Oxford is it's very Caucasian. It's
It is.
very Caucasian,
Yeah.
and I like diversity. I agree. People of different backgrounds, which is one of my problems with Boise, which is actually I think an underrated town, college town, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a fun time, very Caucasian.
Yeah.
But
Too many whites, says the panel of 3 white guys.
hey-o! I'm trying to think anywhere else in the SEC. Tuscaloosa's fine. It's just sort of acceptable.
Good ribs.
Good
barbecue,
ribs. You can eat well. Knoxville is the only college town I've been called the N-word. That is a true story. That is a true story.
In a good way or a bad way?
Not the best way I can imagine, but that is a point of fact. But everybody else was very nice to me in Knoxville.
Well,
So
it was your dad who called you it. So.
yeah, no, that was weird because normally he doesn't get that way. Anywhere else in the SEC worth mentioning? Gainesville? Nope.
Yeah. No love for Gainesville.
No, not for me.
You mean Beef O'Brady's isn't for you?
Not my
is that-
taste. But you
All
can
right.
get boiled nuts all over the freeway around there, all over the highways. They love selling boiled nuts and fireworks.
Heyo.
Heyo, there it is.
I haven't been to Vandy, but I like Nashville.
I've never been to Nashville.
So I
I imagine it's
1 and 1 equals 2 or something, right? So
I haven't been to Vanderbilt either, but since we don't have an opinion, I'll just say it's bad.
it is bad. Anywhere else? Northeast? Have you spent?
I was going to make a list of like worst college towns, just because
Okay.
we've been saying so many nice things.
Yeah.
And I like to poke people. I would say that if there's a place that I definitely would never want to go to school, it'd be Cornell.
That's rough.
Out in the middle of nowhere, snowy throughout the entire year. Don't have any sports teams to root for. Well, I guess maybe a men's basketball team.
Every
Hey,
so often.
maybe we can win the Ivy League and get them lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament. That's your only sports. Ithaca is gorgeous. Yeah, great. Hilarious T-shirt. I've seen it every year for 15 years.
Yeah. Anywhere else? ACC Chapel Hill is supposed to be really nice.
I like the triangle. Raleigh,
triangle.
Durham, Chapel Hill. I like that area, and it's each one of those is kind of distinct and fun, and a lot of bars you can go out to. So
Yep. I've spent time at Clemson. I haven't been to South Carolina. University of South Carolina
Heard
in
good
Columbia.
things about it, though.
I've heard good things. They've got the cockaboose.
I don't know
Yes.
what
They
that is.
tailgate like really, really rich people buy train cars
What?
and tailgate. Like, remember the movie Maverick? How they had those super
Yeah.
luxurious train cars?
Yeah.
That's how they tailgate there.
Also, you just said, remember the movie Maverick? And
Yeah.
I said, yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
James Gardner, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that was. It's a good. I've been told it's good. Clemson was really nice. Didn't spend a lot of time in the town. I'm trying to think. Any Tallahassee.
How about Rutgers?
We're in a Rutgers
Scataway.
town right now.
Are we ever?
This is a
I've
Rutgers
seen more.
town.
I was about to say this, but I've seen more like Cal and Stanford
Oh,
gear
yeah.
out in New
Oh,
York
yeah.
than I have Rutgers.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
Like all of my friends in Brooklyn are from Northern California and are Golden Bears fans.
Thoughts on Berkeley as a college town?
I think if you kind of go right, kind of on the University Avenue and kind of like that Main Street, it's not bad. You
It's a
stray
good
too
time.
far,
It's good. It's a little too hippie.
definitely.
There is a hippie factor.
It's too hippie for my taste, but like the fact that it's kind of got the city environment, the city feel
Yep.
to the lively campus and smart students. And my wife's from Oakland. Her family's not even from Oakland. Moved to Oakland in the 70s and are mad about Cal.
Yeah, they like it. Another factor, though, it's good life experience to learn how to deal with hobos, aggressive hobos.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's what you get in the Bay Area.
yeah. You got
And you
got
get
the
it at
aggressive
Berkeley.
hobos.
People's Park, it's a sleepover.
That's like, hey man, what's your problem? Give me $1.
Yeah.
You're like, that's not how
What?
begging works.
First of all, you asked me a question, and let me answer the question.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
Oh, what? You're too good to give me $1? Yeah, because I have a job and
That's
you
what
don't.
they do.
Yeah.
That's what they do. But yeah, Berkeley's beautiful. Other than that, so I'm going to finish this with this question. Now that we've sort of circled the country,
Yes.
picture yourselves each as a top college football player or top high school football player
All right.
being recruited. Essentially, you're a 5-star kid. You can go anywhere you want. And you're taking into consideration all of the things we've mentioned. So it's the town itself, the weather, the girls, academics, how successful you'll be on the field. If you had to consider all of these things equally, where do you end up?
Ooh. I would say personally LSU if it's football.
Really?
If you can imagine a
Baton
world
Rouge
in
is
which
kind
I
of crappy.
All right.
see, but I just kind of love like the LSU spirit.
It's a great time.
You would be worshipped.
Although I think that we have a corollary to this question,
Right.
just as like a high school student, knowing what I know, you can go anywhere you want.
Right.
I would probably say Colorado.
You go Boulder.
I'd go Boulder.
It's tough to turn it down.
or maybe ASU, just because I'm
You're gonna have a fun 4 years.
exactly
You're gonna
Very
get on the
true.
field. You're gonna be on TV. You're gonna be on the Pac-12
spring break in Lake
family
Havasu.
of networks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail, Dan.
Of course, of course. All right. So I'm gonna add a corollary to yours. Outside of the Pac-12,
Oh, I would have already said Texas. to be
University of
number one.
Texas. Yeah, just-
I'm a little biased because I'm from Dallas, and so I
Right.
know that university well, and I know A&M. I know the Big 12 schools are now the SEC schools, but
Right.
I think it has when you're talking about the nightlife at 6th Street,
Mm-hmm.
the success at the school, and then afterwards, and then usually the program's pretty good, but we'll see about that.
right.
So.
See, I 6th Street to me, it's fun and nice, but I don't think that's the big draw of Texas. Just like area wise, I like where all like the food carts are.
Yeah.
When you start, it's a good
taco
They
food cart?
float down
you
the
and your
rivers.
food.
No, I'm talking full experience. They float down the rivers. There's a lake there. They just hang. It's a good time.
ACL, South by Southwest.
Yeah, they have
ACL,
music
yeah.
festivals. Yeah, my answer I will always gravitate towards Stanford, just because like quality of life is really good, the weather's really nice, the academics are good. If I'm a football player, if I'm a 5-star football player, I feel like the female situation will probably work itself out adequately.
I just find Stanford dull.
There is
You would think that, but it's surprised. It's surprised me. I think even just being down there a little bit more often than I have been. Just
Right.
how diverse it is and how exciting they are.
I should probably have full disclosure.
Yeah.
Stanford's the one school I did not get into.
oh yeah.
So I actually don't hold that person.
Also-
I'm glad I did not go there, but
Right.
But I just kind of bland.
Oh, I didn't even apply. I knew Stanford didn't want me. Consider my personality though, with Stanford's nightlife and like pace situation. I feel like it would work pretty well for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So I would say Stanford. I would also say Texas or Georgia. I think it would just be a very memorable 4 years.
What if you weren't a high school 5-star?
If I could do it all over again, if I go to any school,
Yeah.
I'm staying out of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I don't want the cold.
No.
I do not want the cold. If I could apply anywhere, I would probably still want some sort of journalism school there, at least so I could learn the craft.
So Mizzou, okay.
Columbia, Missouri is a good time.
Yeah, it is.
Shakespeare's Pizza,
You know what? It might be Mizzou.
Really?
Good. I mean,
Almost went there.
actually, no, they have tornadoes there, don't they?
Not really, no.
No, it doesn't get that far.
Just a little cold.
It gets cold.
You're close to the Ozarks, which is kind of like
My speed.
which is kind of like the white trash version of Havasu of the
True.
the
down by the lake?
southeast.
Right.
Yeah,
I would probably stay away from the humidity.
yeah,
So Boulder's not a bad answer.
yeah.
Boulder's not. I feel
LA
like I would fit in.
schools?
Yeah. It's Boulder's 2 hours from anywhere in the country.
Really? I
Yeah.
did not realize
Yeah.
that.
It actually is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's pretty nice. That's my answer, I guess. I don't know. And Mike McIntyre seems like a good coach.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a man of Jesus, just like myself. And that's, I think, Stanford is still my
Yeah.
number one. All right. So in the comments, please not only disagree with everything
Oh,
we've
yes.
said, because
Please do.
you should, because we are talking out of our asses. But tell us where you would go to college if given the choice and you had to weigh each of those things equally. It's not just like, I want to go to the league, so Bama. That's not an answer we're looking for. All things considered. So, Will, do you have an answer? Will, audio guy?
Yeah.
He's from
I don't
Houston.
Think I wouldn't commit to a school. I would just I would commit to Coach Mike Leach. And just,
You just follow him around?
Yeah, he's not too secure in
Sure.
any aspect of his life.
Right.
So I think I would probably just follow him around and have a good time.
You'd just be like a roadie then. You'd be a college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan, you were saying that Pullman's at the bottom of the list for you.
Pullman's, it's very far
Brian
away.
Floyd's getting mad at all of us
Brian
right
Floyd
now.
is getting very mad, but Pullman, I've heard nice things. I've heard nice people.
Brian Floyd is obviously a very
Brian
nice
Floyd,
one.
a very nice gentleman. I think it's the
Well
farthest,
represented at college game day
Yep,
every week.
they fly their flag.
Yes.
And that's all we can say. That's really positive
I
about it.
just don't feel
it's
like
different if you're visiting versus if you're in Pullman for a long time. I think it's fine
Right.
if you're going to school there and you're part of the team or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. If you're just visiting every once in a while, it's hard to get to. It's away from everything.
If you're not familiar with the West Coast, if you're an East Coaster, if you're a Midwesterner, if you hear Washington,
Yeah.
your notion of it is like trees and mountains. And here's the truth: from Washington to California, there's a line of mountains, Sierra Nevadas,
Nevadas,
and that range goes up. And once you cross over east, you are in redneck country.
You're
And
in the desert.
It's flat and it's desert. There's
Yeah.
desert from Washington through the Mojave down south, and it's a completely different world. And Pullman is in that world.
You will hear every so often that like either Eastern Oregon or Eastern Washington wants to secede and start a different state.
They're like we're tired of this being a blue state.
Yes, that's what happens. But
Yeah.
Pullman, I've heard good things. It's actually a good life skill to be able to figure out how to entertain yourself when there isn't things to do. When
great
there aren't
thing.
things to do. That's my positive spin.
People who go to Washington State are great at celebrity.
Yeah, they're really good at apples to apples. People in Pullman, they go to Moscow, Idaho to have a good time. That's what I'm told.
Ooch.
Yeah, so there's that.
When you have to go to Idaho to have a good time,
Northern Idaho.
that's a problem.
I
Like-
have a quick question to tie into this.
Yeah.
So, what would you say as your number one most attractive campus, people wise? Like best looking girls, best looking guys.
I think we're unanimous probably on this one. Maybe.
The best looking group of girls that I've seen
Outside of Idaho.
outside of Idaho, outside of the Kibble Dome.
You can go two ways here.
Kibbe Dome.
It's either going to be Southern California, Arizona, or it's going to be SEC, depending on which way you go.
I think just in terms of what I saw with mine own eyes, the girls at Ole Miss
Oh, okay.
are they're not.
So you really like diversity until it comes to looking at blondes and sundresses.
No comment.
as far as my knowledge goes, I feel like the guys at Ole Miss would kind of bring that down a little bit.
That's true. I don't know what is your most attractive fan base.
I would say like ASU. Florida's pretty solid.
Florida's good.
Georgia.
Georgia to me,
Georgia's
actually
pretty-
Georgia. I
Georgia's
think it
good.
might be Georgia.
But the Georgia Bros are very much like future golfers.
I'm an alternative to the Georgia Bros.
All right.
I'm a different kind.
The contrarian.
And Chad, if
Yeah.
you're watching, you are not one of those Georgia bros. You are a wonderful human being.
Yeah, Chad's great.
Yeah, he's probably the best Georgia person I know.
Absolutely. War damn Bulldogs.
Dodged that one.
Yeah. So, do you have a most attractive campus?
I would probably lean ASU.
Yeah.
That's just when the girls look like they could probably. Never mind.
I'll give you one more chance to say Cornell. I'll give you one more chance.
I love that we have not talked about the Northeast at all because living in New York City, one of the things that I find most irritating is like these tiny liberal arts schools that people act are like it's such a big deal that I went to Swarthmore or Sarah Lawrence,
Vassar,
and I'm like, oh, I'm so impressed. Like nobody outside the Northeast even knows about this school
Not
existing. At all. And I you know, if you were really elite, Mr. Hot Smart Student, you would have gone to an Ivy school.
Here's how you know nobody cares about the school you went to if it's a school in the Northeast. If you have to add a comma and say it's a small liberal arts college and then whatever state, that's how you know nobody cares about your school.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Bowdoin? It's a small liberal arts college in Maine. Oh, Bowdoin.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
That's just all that says to me is that I spent 6 figures on education that I really could have gotten for much cheaper at a state school.
I went to college with 800 people, so
the ratio was really good.
It did pretty well.
I never had a class with more than 6 students, therefore it was a better education.
We were Quakers. I don't know. That is probably all the time that we should spend talking here today. But thank you very much to Bryan Fischer. Find him on Twitter, Bryan D. Fischer. That's Bryan with a Y. Be sure to check out Pac12.com.
What about the Fischer? Is there a C in the Fischer?
There is a C.
There is
all
a C.
sorts of alternate spellings.
YMC.
Yep. But check out the Pac-12. Check out Pac12.com. Call your local Pac-12.com. Call your local satellite and cable providers if you don't receive the network.
Ooh, nicely done. That's a
There's
good plug.
that.
That's a good plug.
That's all I got. I like Bryan a lot. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to comment below and tell us every single thing we've gotten wrong.
Bye.
Bye-bye.